Man, look at this go-go gas. What a fucking pleb. He's gonna make us lose.
Ah, what kind of tank is that anyway?
Okay, guys, just we need.
With one win apiece, this third match against AGN1 is the decider. And much to my relief, it's on a map that is far, far more familiar to me. Our team has rejigged tanks slightly. We've dropped Paul's Batchat for a T110E5, much more able to exploit the ridgelines abundant on this map. And Doc Centurion Action 10, although good on ridgelines, has been swapped out for a T110E3, which is a little bit more durable and has a slightly more fearsome gun, which hopefully balances out its relative inflexibility. It's not the meta, it's a gamble, but it actually pays off in this one. Now, we're attacking on the cliff map, and the most important position on this map is the hills at E7, the lighthouse at E8, and the donut hill at E3 and E4, because these positions have the best fire arcs to cover the greatest area on the map, and therefore allow you to exert your influence on a far greater section of ground. Whereas the 9 line and the 1 line are locked off from the rest of the map in terms of fire lanes, and are useful only for getting positions to flank enemies, or gaining access to the donut or making a cap rush in the case of the 1 line. Now, we can anticipate that the enemy is going to push for the donut because it allows them to cover the 1 cap easily and get shots into the 2 cap if it's sufficiently lit for them. And they'll undoubtedly have some presence at E6 just so that they can get crossfires and light us up, hold us in place for the forces at the donut to get shots into us. They will not waste tanks on the 9 line because those tanks will be isolated and taken out of the game. So my plan from the get-go was to have the T110E5s and the E3 push for the central hill here, and push our IS-7s and 50B around the right side, with the T49 harassing on the left. The IS-7s are quick enough to get around that hill in time to sit on the cap and put pressure on the enemy, and the E5s are tough enough to fight the ridge line until those IS-7s get into position, at which point we'd be able to pincer the mediums and the 50B in striking distance of Cap 2, and then turn our hard-as-nails frontal armour to the enemy at the donut, who will be forced to rush and attack across open ground by virtue of the fact that we've got our heavy tanks nicely nestled on Cap number 2. Now as it stands, Doc's T110E3 managed to get a nice hit in on the AMX 50B right out of the gate, and the 50B, not blessed with an abundance of hit points, is going to be a little bit more gun-shy from now on, as it does not have the health to throw around in this environment. So we've got the E5s locking the centre and causing a little bit of damage, with the overwatch fire from Doc and Mr. Barker in the E3 and the 50B, respectively. The IS-7s have started the cap, tucked in nicely against the edge of the hill, which is going to force the T-62A out of position, exposing his rear to me fairly shortly. Meanwhile, the enemy heavies at the donut are seemingly engaging in a ranged duel with Paul's E5 and Doc's E3, who are locking down that advance admirably, while Flappy's T49 harasses the rear of the enemy position, and the fight has really turned at this point. The presence of the 2 IS-7s on cap is forcing the enemy to act. The cap count goes up way too quickly for them to ignore, and the enemy is running a gauntlet against a force consisting of tanks with fantastic frontal armour all faced towards them. The only threat to our imminent victory here is the 50B and 1390 behind the T110E5s between our two forces. But some good target priority by the IS-7s and the 50B on our cap should sort that out in short order. And now it's just a desperate scramble to reset. It would appear that the enemy heavies are trying to keep myself and Paul occupied while the resets are made, but the IS-7's advance was sheltered enough that they are full health and more than capable of dealing with the 50B and the 1390, who succumbed to gravity just then. It seems gravity is AGN1's greatest nemesis here. But before this match closes off, I have to say it's really nice seeing enemy players aiming instead of just reaching gold, especially in a tournament setting. Full respect to AGN1 for displaying skill. It's probably luck more than anything that got us through this round of the ESL tournament. It's clear that AGN1 were definitely better prepared than we were, but who can resist a plucky underdog story? But I'd like to take this opportunity to thank AGN1 for being fantastic opponents, and being generally good chaps in random battles whenever I encounter them. It's always nice seeing a combination of skill and sportsmanship. And of course a huge thanks to Mr. Barker for setting us up for the ESL tournaments. It was immense fun and it wouldn't have happened without him. Sure.